Going on, Jordan. Another episode of Lightning Latest. Really excited for this one. Got a busy day today. Preseason game 3 is tonight. Two nights. All right, we're gonna be talking about that. A little bit of a preview because we're facing off the Hurricanes again. Also gonna be talking about a couple of key players. I think Jacob Pelletier being one, Brandon Hagel being the other, and of course, we're gonna finish off today with a what if, and might be more of a bit of a more boring what if, but it's still one that could be intriguing because of the needs for this team. But let's start with the preseason home opener, which is tonight, baby. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So, we're hosting the Hurricanes again. Well, not again. First time for 25, 26 we're hosting them. But hosted them after we played them last Monday. We beat them 2-1 in the preseason opener on Monday, so not too bad. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, right? Lost to the Panthers in 5 games. A lot like us, who lost to the Panthers in 5 games in the first round. But, I think it's going to be different this year. So, second and final time we're going to be playing them in the preseason before the regular season kicks off. Well, obviously, we'll be playing them a few times once the regular season kicks off. The question is, will we see more starters than we saw on Monday? We didn't really see too many from the Bolts side of things. A lot of hopeful starters, right? Like Geeky and Goncalves and other guys like that. Guys that we really hope that are having an impact this year and beyond. But none of the first or second line guys. I don't know if we'll see them, tonight as well. I don't believe so. But hey, anything's possible, right? Because these guys got to start getting ready sooner rather than later. And tonight's matchup against the Hurricanes and tomorrow's against the Preds, also at home, should be a good indicator to see where everyone's at. Camp's been pretty busy. A lot of the team skaters in the first couple groups made some cuts. O'Reilly's going back down. Ziada's going back down. Well, they're going to their club assignments for the season. So, now we're starting to really lock in that roster. It's possible that the core guys, like Point, Cooch, Hedman, Bassey, they won't play in any of this weekend's games, tonight or tomorrow. They might not come back and start and play at least preseason hockey until next week. So, for most of them, it's fine. The only issue is we haven't really seen too much of Bassey, and that's a little concerning. So, Coop did say he should be back by Monday, so hopefully we're good to go there, because tonight's preseason home opener, at least, could be a big one for us, especially if we continue the undefeated streak. So, start off with 2 wins and on the road. Let's get 2 more at home before they play the Panthers for 3 straight. So, we have that, but we're going to talk about another roster hopeful, and that's our boy Jacob Pelletier. You guys know I'm very high on him. I think he could really be a good piece for us moving forward. So far, he's locked in that competition for that 4th line spot. Pontus Holmberg was, his main competition, but he really hasn't been around. So, could Pelletier take that spot? Signed a 3-year deal, $775,000 a year. So, not the biggest contract, but not a small chunk of change either. Yes, the cap is growing, but it's still a decent bit of change. Competition is stiff for that 4th line role. It's really him and Holmberg going for it, I think, right now, at least on the left wing. But, if Holmberg comes back and plays how people think he could, then we're really going to see who's going to play. But Holmberg hasn't been on the ice. So, Pelletier has. Pelletier scored the game-tying goal against Nashville on Tuesday. He's definitely going to be playing this weekend, too. We're going to see a lot more of him. If he can continue to contribute goals and assists, become a steady stream of points. I know it's only preseason hockey, but hey, we're looking for those 3rd or 4th lines, right? We're looking for that next wave, the more depth, more talent coming up through the system. Only way we're going to beat the Panthers is by having that. So, if Jacob Pelletier shows he can do that, then that's awesome. He's a former first-rounder, right? So we've done a pretty good job at taking a lot of these highly regarded guys coming out of the amateur rinks. They've stumbled a bit, but we've done a good job at developing them into better threats, especially, with our later round draft picks like a Kucherov, like a Braden Point. So, could Pelletier be next? It's possible. We've already done this with players like him before, young players coming in to free agency, looking to make a name of themselves because they've already been in the league a little bit of time but haven't really proven themselves. Pelletier is one of those guys. If he can prove himself here in Tampa, then his next deal will probably look a lot longer and a lot bigger than the current one he just got. So if he can sustain this strong camp and this strong preseason he's had so far, I don't see why he couldn't have the best year of his career so far and really make an impact with us. Because we're really going to need it. We're going to need offense from everywhere, especially, once again, from our man Brandon Hagel. We're really going to need... He already had a great year last year. He scored 90 points at career high. But if we could get more, if we could get 100, if we can get 110 points, if he can get the Rocket Richard, like we talked about Jake Gutzel the other day possibly getting it. Hagel's another guy who could really get there. We all know Kucherov could do it. But Hagel could possibly get there as well. Remember, last year was the best year of his career with the 90 points, 35 goals, 55 assists. So to get to the Rocket Richard, you probably have to score at least another 20 goals this year. It's a high mark, but it could happen, especially depending on where he plays, right? Plus minus mark last year plus 33. Also had a career time on ice high. Almost 21 minutes a game. Just under 20 minutes and 45 seconds to be precise, around 20:44. So the plus minus has been excellent. All 3 years he's been with us has been positive, especially last year. And he's only missed one game during those first 3 years. So he's played 82 games the last 2 years with us. He only missed a game his first full season with us. 90 points last year was big. It was a big deal for him because, he could see take that step forward and show that he could really be a producer for us. He's been the assistant for 3 years, right? He's had a lot of experience. He's had a lot of experience playing with these players. He knows Anthony Cirelli pretty well. He also knows his first line mates pretty well. I feel like at some point he can really make an impact on that first line, depending on how Gutzel does this year. I think both of them and Kuch will be in the running for Rocket Richard. I think they are all excellent goal scorers. One of them, Gutzel or Hagel, will break his career high mark. But, I think 55 goals is really the true asking point of where this award can land. Can he score another 20 goals? It's highly possible. It is possible. But we'll see if he gets there. Because remember, he's already got this good deal. He's already got a good relationship with Cirelli. Bjorkstrand was brought in last trade deadline. So they're still growing alongside each other, I guess you could say. So there's a lot that has to be done moving forward. But I think Hagel has a really good shot at Rocket Richard. I think he could get there. A lot of things have to break his way. He's going to have another standout season. Go over 100 points for sure. I think, bare minimum 50 goals is the benchmark for Rocket Richard. If he can get to 55, even 60, it'd be an absolute wild year. And it would certainly help the Bolts with that offensive punch they've been looking for. Because, hey, if it can come from other places other than the depth lines, that's great too. But we do need some help on defense. And that's where today's What If is going to be focused on. John Merrill. There's a reason why he's still a free agent, right? Last year, 70 games, only had 6 points total. 2 goals, 4 assists, with a -8 plus minus. Screams third pair defenseman, fourth pair defenseman. He's 33. He just played the last 4 years with the Wild. He's played for 5 different teams in his career. So that includes the Devils who drafted him, the Golden Knights, Red Wings, Canadiens, and of course the Wild. The question is, would he be an upgrade over Darren Radish? Possibly. The thing is, Radish is younger, but he's playing the same, basically like the same kind of level of play that Merrill has provided. Plus, he's going to be UFA next year. Merrill would probably only sign a 1-year deal, so it only really help this year. But remember, we're trying to develop another young defenseman on the third line in Emil Lilleberg, right? Lilleberg scored the other night. He showed some promise. He could really use a steady veteran to play next to him. John Merrill would be that kind of steady veteran presence, okay? Yeah, his points have gone down the last 4 years. During his entire time at the Wild, they've steadily gone down. From 20 points in his first year to 6 points last year. It's not the best look. However, here's the thing. Hedman, you have Moser, You have McDonough. You have Chernak. We really need this third line to get going. If Lilleberg can show that he's a good offensive defenseman, which, we're always looking for more of those guys too, John Merrill wouldn't be a bad fit next to him. Now, this depends if Darren Radish really kind of doesn't show any improvement and, Brevoort can see, an upgrade out in the free agent market like Merrill. It's highly possible. Could he be, I don't know if he'd be a true shutdown defender anymore based on his age, but hey, McDonough's 36 and he still does it. So, would he be able to play well with Lilleberg? Would he raise the younger defenseman up? Or would it be comparable to Radish and not really worth the money? That's really the key question, isn't it? So, that's it for today. We have a few other things we're going to be obviously discussing next week. On Monday, we have 2 preseason games to break down, so that's going to be fun. We're also going to be talking about a few other options and, of course, another what if. But September is almost done, guys. Preseason's almost done, and then we're only a couple weeks away from the real deal, baby. So, this is Jordan Llanes signing off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.